And I'm live. Welcome, Pathfinders, to this week's Infiknight Reviews, as I'm your host, Dustin Knight, and I'm here to review a bunch of new awesome products from Pathfinder Infinite. To this week, we have products from mostly Pathfinder 2. We have a Pathfinder 1 product that got in there that I couldn't resist going over. Hi, Kate. Oh, it's Kate Baker. Hi. I thought for a second you were someone. Yeah. Hi, Kate. How are you doing? So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff to get in there. First of all, the coolest news of all, I do have to bring up that Paizo has recognized the Union. So I still don't have my Union shirt. Will be here tomorrow, it looks like, according to the shipping. But hey, this is great. This is awesome. This is still just the first step in getting everything that's necessary for the great people at Paizo to make the works that we love stress-free with all their rights procured. But negotiations can now officially begin as the Union has been recognized, and the freelancer concerted effort is officially over. So we are, hi Script, the freelancer concerted effort, which kind of like a strike, is now officially over, so we could all get back to work and start submitting all of our overdue milestones, and celebrate. Yeah, totally a cause for celebration. I was kind of celebrating all day and night yesterday. But yes, now it is the time for writing. All right, so but let's go over some of these Infinite products that we have this week, because we got some great stuff, some really cool stuff, and I want more of our wonderful content creators to get the recognition they deserve for all these cool products. So first up, we got Gods in the Gears, Akuvenlia. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but I don't mind. This is from Sasha Larnoa Harving. It is a simple, I believe it's $1.20 just for a new deity. But it's a deity of a type that we've never had before in Golarion, and there's a lot of really nice flavor behind it. It's for Dampier specifically. I mean, anyone could take it. Blood banks, pharmacists, kind of a doctory deity. I love seeing any deity that has a what are those called again? Those spears. Where's favorite weapon? It has injection spheres as its favorite weapon, which I absolutely love. Love the idea of a leeching, a deity all about like leeching in the humors and blood and all that. Kind of has a Regathiel feeling, as it's kind of a sun deity and a vampire deity's child. Child of Zura? Yeah, Zura, the demon lord of vampires, and Luar, the old sun goddess of the setting sun. Yeah, I love it. It's simple. It's quaint, in a good way. It's great because, like, sometimes you just want that perfect deity for your Pathfinder character, but you don't want to drop like $28 on an entire setting book just for that one option, which is something that I absolutely adore about Pathfinder Infinite, because budgeting is important. All right. There's another deity we get to go over too, though. This one is from the Burgeoning Deity, which will be a series of demigods. This is written by Corey Roberge. It's Divine Gears. I'm sorry about that. This deity is about supporting and protecting others, companionship, personal health, repose, family. Very, very much a good, lava neutral good, in fact, gentle kind of defender deity. What's nice about this series is, again, it's only $1. You get your deity, you get all your statistics for them. It is a recommended, so you could do less if you want, if you're really tight on your budget, or you're buying a ton of stuff from Infinite. Nice deity, cool deity. I love these single deity PDFs. I want to see more of them. I love deities. It's a great, easy way to build, to totally flavor up a character, and having these unique minor ones makes a lot of sense in Golarion, where there are literally thousands of deities that we don't even have names for yet. So bring it on. And I don't just mean in Kazmarin, but also in Kazmarin. But yes, there's Imperial Lords, there's the Kazmarin deities, there's a lot of cool stuff like that. So yeah, minor reviews there. Up next, though, we do have... What did I say was next? Oh, yes. So, the Scarlet Rose Avengers. A friend wanted me to look at this product as they love the Grey Maidens. When I first bought it, I will admit, I assumed it was a PF2 product just because they're sold in the same place as the PF1 products. But no, this is a PF1 product. Which, it's great. I still play PF1. I'm still in APs and adventures for PF1. And while I do love the Scarlet Rose stuff we have for PF1 from Adventurer's Guide, especially the Prestige class, this I think I like a little bit more than... I love the Vigilante archetype too, don't get me wrong. That's really cool. But this one, I think, makes a little better of a base class in a stronger group. A group approaching the stronger, optimized end of PF1. You should probably look into this. What this is a hybrid class between Cavalier and Inquisitor. Let me go with my notes real quick. There we go. So, it's by Gregarious Games. It's only $2. For 10 pages, a great deal. It gets domain, judgment, teamwork feats, but at a rate that makes it not strictly better than either a Cavalier or an Inquisitor. They did a good job balancing this class. I gotta give it that. Feels a little like an Omdora, but not 100%. There's information here about different orders that you could join of the remainder of the Grey Maidens, aside from just the ones from Adventurer's Guide. There's also some new edicts, the Order of the Shield, about defending your allies, and the Order of the Dragon, a more offensive Scarlet Avenger that's more about buffing your allies rather than simply defending them. You also get this really neat ability called Half-Hearted Bane. I love the design of this. It's literally half a Bane. It's like you pick an enemy and you get, or an enemy type, and you infuse your weapon with magic, and you end up with a +1 and a +1 d6, which, I don't know, I love the flavor, the mechanics and the flavor combined. Hi, Katie! The mechanics and the flavor combined hits this point for me that I really enjoy. When you level up to, I think, 11 or 12, it does become a full Bane 2d6. So you're not going to sit there being like, I'm just worse than an occultist. No. Plus, you get it all day. I mean, you do have to spend your action to activate it. So it feels kind of like a smite. A lot of people will probably be like, well, you don't get smite all day. Yeah, well, you get enough smite that any reasonable DM is going to give you more encounters than you need. Great. Just want to make sure there's nothing else in here that I wanted to bring up. Good artwork, good layout. It's I enjoyed the book a lot, enough to bring it on here. Despite I don't want to say despite being PF1, but even though it's PF1, I'm bringing it on the show because I think it's totally worth it. And there's a lot of people out there still enjoying one of our favorite games of all time, which that's another great part about Infinite is, yes, while Paizo is no longer going to be releasing much new content for PF1, Infinite is your place to go if you want more well done, good, solid third-party PF1 content. You could pick it up not just on drive-thru, but now also on Infinite, which is fabulous. Not to mention, there's plenty of chances if you want to call Majuba or find their Discord or find their DM or message them on Paizo.com or whatever. There's a good chance you could even potentially ask to convert some of their stuff from PF1 to PF2. You know, you could always ask. There's no problem with asking. Pitching to developers, even third-party developers, is a way to go. All right. So let's switch over now to the big reviews. And by big, I mean 50-plus pages big. All right. So this one caught up from the first week. Novel Options Magic by Dylan Wokek, Novel Enigma. This... For only $5, you get a 55-page book that is chock full of so much content, and it is so well done. I found a couple tiny things that I might adjust if one of my players wanted this as a GM. Just tiny. Like, so tiny, it's like a matter of opinion. The truth is, this is such a solid book. Novel Options Magic. It starts with this great letter between somebody from Earth, but like Earth within the Pathfinder setting. They're writing to somebody through the Fae, through the First World, to Irison. So it's kind of a reference to the whole Rasputin Must Die adventure. Writing their treatise on the different magics of Galarian. Very inspired by Book of Infinite Magic from Secrets of Magic. If you like that, you'll enjoy this letter. And then it goes straight into base classes. This book ends up with 2 new base classes. The Zealot is very much a Divine Magus-ish. They describe it a little differently in the book. After I read it, I'm going, this is kind of a Divine Magus. Bit of an Inquisitor, too. It's a frontlining divine caster that can infuse their strikes with magic, kind of like a spell strike, except instead of using offensive magic, it infuses themselves with a self buff that applies for the duration of the strike. So it's kind of a buff and strike with semi-reduced actions. It has, when you take the class, you have options of an Inquisition. So you could get stuff like bonus damage against an opposed faith, which is kind of a niche one, but then they have stuff like lowered speed as you chain them up when you hit them, or ignoring the concealed or hidden ability when you use your Divine Force. Divine Force being the strike that you buff yourself with when you strike. There is a sidebar here that very cleanly defines what you could cast when you use Divine Force. There's even some things like if you cast a buff that normally affects multiple people, it will only affect you when you use it with Divine Force. In that sense, it almost feels like the old Blood Rager ability, where you get to buff yourself for free when you rage. It's kind of like that. The Truth Inquisition, there's the minor thing that I wanted to say is I think the Truth Inquisition, I don't think you're supposed to start with Master and Perception. I think that was a typo, and you're just supposed to get Canny Acumen as a bonus feat. That's my one minor quibble about the class. It's so minor. It's 1/4 of the class. One ability from 1/4 of the class. Who cares? Everything else about this is absolutely great. It gets focus spells called Judgments that they can only cast in combat. They also get a pseudo-divine font. They have is that a feat? No, it's an ability as they level up. They get a pseudo-divine font. It heightens a little bit lower than a cleric. Like 2 levels lower from your max, and you get a little bit less per day, but it's still a divine font. You could still use it to heal or harm, depending on what deity you pick for your Zealot. Feat-wise, solid feats. A lot of them are additional feats that they spelled out in the book, which at first I was like, well, that's weird. I mean, why would they spell it out when, like, this is a feat we all have from another book? But then I realized, like, actually, that's really clever, because when you get your book, you don't always want to reference, you don't always want to be like, well, according to this, I get Everstand Stance, which is from Lost Omens World Guide, so now let me pull up Lost Omens. No, it's fine to spell it out. It's a PDF product. It's not like it's killing more trees to spell it out. But Everstand Stance is one such example. They do have Everstand Stance in here as a class feat, Emblazoned Armament, things like that. And then, they have the other feats for their unique focus spells. They have a grimoire feat. If you have your Deities Bible in one hand, you get a bonus to your checks. What else do they got here? They have even more feats in with religious scripture, which I kind of like. I really liked that Inquisitor archetype from 1E, where you hit people with books, and you could totally play that out with this. Barb chains make people get hurt when they hit you. Solo tactics, kind of classic, kind of points it to the old Inquisitor, which lets you make an attack roll to aid and then spend your reaction on your next attack roll to gain the circumstance bonus listed in the aid action based on the result. So you can kind of aid yourself, which, okay, I get that. That's balanced. Single action and a reaction to aid yourself on an attack roll. Yeah, I like that. I never even thought of that, actually, of aiding yourself. I'm not even sure if you could do that I wonder if you could just do that by raw, actually, as a 2 action plus reaction. I don't think so. I'm sure they would say an ally. I'm just going to look it up real quick over here, because that would be an oversight. Yeah, it does say ally. You have to have an ally willing to accept your aid. And in this case, you would definitely not be your own ally. So, I mean, you're not your own ally in 2E. So, yeah, this is, this lets you aid yourself. Kind of neat. At the 20th level, you get the amazingly named feat, Supreme Cleaving Smite. We're just going to read this real quick. 3 actions. Divine Wrath floods your body as you attack in an arc in front of you. Use the Divine Force activity that lets you buff yourself, but roll separate strikes to attack each enemy within your reach, or 3 enemies in your first range increment if using a ranged weapon. Oh, I'm so glad they put that. Oh, that's so cool. A lot of times these kind of feats kind of forget that ranged weapons exist. Anyway, this counts as 3 attacks for your multiple attack penalty, but the penalty does not increase until after you make both attacks. This is a 20th level feat. If you're using a weapon that has the sweep trait, as its circumstance bonus applies against both targets, if you're using a ranged weapon, you must be able to attack with it 3 times without spending any other actions, such as having reload 0 or the returning rune. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's definitely worthy of being called a supreme cleaving smite. Fun. The Thurge. What did I write here about the Thurge? Thurge. Here we go. All right, the Thurge is, I forgot to throw in here. The Zealot does cast like a Magus as well. Gotta throw that in there. It has that strange, I shouldn't say strange. It has that balanced, heightened casting. Which I know there's a better name for it than that, but I am remembering right now what that is called. So I'm just going to call it Magus casting, and people will understand what I mean. All right, the Thurge is a full caster, full 9th level pure caster. The Thurge has the ability to break tradition. Literally, it frees magic potential from your current tradition, allowing you to utilize a different one. So you could spend an action once per turn, and you could switch from like arcane to occult or occult to primal. The Thurge is all about studying as much different magic as you want. It would be really good for a Manyamba Strength of Thousands AP character, since they are all about combining those kinds of traditions, and this is all about using and breaking those kinds of traditions. This is a spellbook-based prepared caster? How would you be a prepared caster if you break traditions? Break traditions, the opposite traditions, such as arcane or primal. You learn to exploit spell warp tradition, and you could cast exploit spells by selecting certain feats. Exploit spells are Thurge-specific spells created to hasten the swapping of traditions and are a type of focus spell. When you use an exploit spell, they allow you to change to a different tradition as if you had spent 2 actions on break tradition after you complete the spell. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you break tradition, and then it has a bunch of abilities that specifically, in formal names, wave casting. No formal name is explicitly, so the Magus spellcasting, some people call it bounded spellcasting, some people call it wave casting. There is no strict name for Magus spellcasting. Just bringing it up. Thank you, Script, in chat. But the Thurge, 9th level casting, yes. So the Thurge, you switch between your casting, and depending on what casting you have, different feats and different abilities that the Thurge gets do different things. It's very much feels, honestly, I'm just going to say, it feels like I would want to see it as almost, well, Wizard's always arcane, but I almost want to just see this as a Wizard archetype, class archetype, because a lot of these feats are from Wizard. Not all. It does other stuff. It could communal healing to channel energy with an enhanced heal spell. It's kind of all over the place, and that's not a bad thing, because that's what they wanted to do with the class. You are kind of the all-caster. Very, very reminiscent of the Mystic Thurge from 1E. You do Divine, you do Arcane. This also throws in Primal and Occult. It will have a wide spell list. If this was a 1E class, I would say right off the bat, just reading just what I've read on here so far, that this is broken as heck. But given how much more balanced Magic is with martial characters in 2E, I think this is a legit option to choose, a legit way to go with a full caster. You could totally do that. You'll have a lot of different spells, a lot of different feats. You'll be switching between them as an action, which is where the main balancing factor if this comes into play. But that's not bad. It's definitely for the kind of people, those friends you have who they're reading the spell list, but they're flipping straight to the back of the book to read the spells before they even read the classes, and they're just like, oh man, I just want to pick as many spells as possible. I don't want to have to worry about what class I am. Hey, you have a class now. Pick the Thurge. They got multi-class archetypes for these. Bounded spellcasting is what they call it here in the book. Yes, the formal name might be implied to be bounded spellcasting. Cool. So they have special rules here for bounded spellcasting with a multi-class archetype. They have multi-class archetypes for the Thurge and for the Zealot. You need them. If you write a base class, you need the multi-class base classes. And of course, they have all the focus spells for the Zealot and the Thurge. They have some special archetypes in this book. They have a Meta Magic Master archetype, all about... you gain a free meta magic feat when you get the dedication, very much like the spell trickster getting free spell tricks when it gets the dedication. Fabulous. Then it can pick up conceal spell, non-lethal spell. Elaborate Flourish, which makes it harder for you to counter a spell that's modified with meta magic. Silent spell, Split Shot, lets you hit 2 people with a ray. It's what it sounds like. You get a bunch of cool meta magic options. It's fine with me. I like meta magics. They're not the easiest things to work with in PF2 because of the next spell you cast. You can't stack them quite easily. They do have an ability here that lets them stack meta magic by changing how they're used as feats, which are going to be very difficult to use, very difficult to word rules-wise, but this is a third party, so despite how they've worded it here, you could kind of just read it and be like, okay, I get where you're going with this. Cool. We're good to go. They do a Bloat Mage in here. I have heard a few other developers talk about wanting to bring the Bloat Mage into PF2. Do I think this was the best way to do it? I think it was a safe way to do it. You're blood surging, you spend 2 actions, and you empower your spellcasting abilities by regaining spell slots. It feels very much like the Overcast, the Surging Wells from Secrets of Magic. It feels a lot like that. Like there's some penalties you could get if you become fatigued and you don't get the bonus if you don't roll well on your flat check. You get so fat with blood that yes, you have a dex cap if you take that feat, but you get an Iron Boast AC. Yeah, it's a little not. It doesn't quite push the idea of the Bloat Mage enough. It's a fair conversion. It's good. To me, not quite enough. I want to see an entire Bloat Mage book. Shield Mage, all about casting shield. The Shield Mage, I love the idea just because I loved the Abjuranist from 3.5. I absolutely died for that class, so I do love the idea of an entire class based around the shield feat. It lets you make your shield explode when it breaks and do damage to people. The base ability lets you spend 2 actions to recharge the spell to get rid of the 10-minute timer, which, yeah, if you have an entire class archetype based on shield, you need some way to get rid of that 10-minute timer. You can you could shove with your shield spell using spell attack roll instead of athletics, which makes this totally viable for something that for a non-strength based class. Lets you stride with your shield spell without triggering reactions. It lets you use the shield spell to protect allies, and at 16th level you get Reflective Barrier, which lets you roll a counteract check against the effect that you shield blocked and potentially reflect it back at the source, which totally badass. Love it. That's against effects that you block magic effects. You need Magical Barrier to pick that up. That lets you block magic effects, kind of like the Deflect Ray or Deflect Spell fighter feat. So yeah, cool. Silencer is kind of like the Forsaker from Song and Silence, one of my favorite prestige classes of all time. It's all about fighting spellcasters, hating spellcasters. The prerequisite is you cannot cast magic spells. The anathema is you cannot willingly accept magic. This is another archetype where I'm glad this author has amazing taste. I'll tell him right off the bat, and I like his work, but I would love to see this as an entire book, an entire product like the Forsaker. I think it's too much just for an added thing to a novel magic book, which in a way sounds weird because this was only $5 for a 55-page book, which is crazy, and there's so many good options in here like this. You grab people's throat, you punch them in the face, you rebound spells with your fist. Ooh, I'm seeing that I'm running a little low on time here, so I'm just going to go over these really fast. You have Corruptor. It corrupts people, poisons people. It's good with poisons and negative energy afflictions. And you have the Specialist Research Field Preservationist. It's all about preserving creatures in vials and bottles. It's a lot like the Preservationist from 1E, which was I think APG. It was a alchemist that could throw outside. It could basically summon out. Its bombs become Pokeballs. It throws its bombs and summons creatures from them, which very much what this kind of does. Except you also kind of usually have to find the creatures first. Cool. It has a bunch of new spells as well. Acid Pit, Aligned Arrow, Murderous Command. A lot of these are just famous fan favorite conversions from 1E. Bolster, Aggressive Thundercloud, Create Pit, all your favorite 1E spells are back in here. A lot of great conversions in this book. I highly recommend you check it out. Check out Dylan Wolkeck's work. It's inspired, it's cool. Depending on your campaign, you might need to adjust, but that's what third party is oftentimes about. $5 for 55 pages. Absolutely wonderful. I also have to check out, I'm going to go over time and I don't care because this is worth it. We're going to check out Pathfinder Infinite Ancestries of Omen Drakorin by Kevin Glusing, Samurai Sheepdog. By the way, best company logo of all time. I love that logo so much there for Samurai Sheepdog. I'm going to zoom in there. Hope the zoom works here on stream. Does the zoom work on stream? The zoom does work on stream. Excellent. So we're going to check out real quick. I just have to show you the Samurai Sheepdog logo. I love it so much. Okay, anyway. But onto this product. Ancestries of Omen Drakorin. You want to play a half-dragon, a wyvern, a dragonkin, whatever you want to call them, this book has your back. I love Kevin Glusing's work on Ancestries. He did a bunch of the Ancestries in a campaign setting book that I referenced 2 weeks ago, so you could check on the VOD if you want to check that out. And he has taken what he learned writing that and actually somehow brought it to the next level. I say somehow because I didn't think that the other ones, there's nothing wrong with the other ones, but this one, he's improved even more. The Drakornians, tons of great Golarion lore here. There are ties into like every type of dragon you could imagine, every type of draconic lore you could imagine. There's ties in here to the Wyvern, to lizard folk, to kobolds, to the Imperial dragons, the esoteric dragons, the occult dragons, the time dragons, the chromatic dragons. They're all in here if you want a kind of character that is like a Drakorian. With this Ancestry, it's all about customability because you get both a heritage that will affect your ability boost, which I still love that. We need more of that, and a draconic origin. So the heritages range from, you could be afflicted, which means like you were something else, but you slowly over time, your true nature kind of popped out and you kind of embraced the dragon. Yes, deep cut dragons. yes, this is a deep dive into the dragons and draconic heritages of Golarion. Definitely. So, afflicted Drakorians, like I said, over time, you kind of become a dragon over time. It's most common with like kobolds and Uruxi, but hey, you're technically neither one of those. You are a Drakorian. Just, you could take it with whatever, as far as I'm concerned. All right. And they do go into everything here. They have they go into all these details that you normally see in the Ancestry. They're in the Heritage section, so you're practically getting 3 Ancestries here. Almost forgot to say this. I believe this book is like $4 or $5. Doesn't matter. We're not even going to discuss price. This book is so good. By the way, look at this. Look how gorgeous this book is. It is professional. There's some amazing art in here. They're using their own art resources here, not just, I think they're all using their own art resources here, actually. Yeah. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Look at those wings there. Look at that fairy dragonkin? I'm not sure, but look how awesome he is. Oh, I think I'll be an esoteric dragon. Yes. Sorry, we're going to go back here for a second. So like I said, the features, physical descriptions, alignment, all that kind of stuff is put into the heritages instead to just add further versatility to this Ancestry, which is awesome. On top of Afflicted, they have traditional dragonkin. Most of them are from Triaxis, but not all of them. You could flavor them yourself even if you want, but the flavor they gave them for Lost Omens was Triaxis. Dragonkin are more of those traditional 5e-ish dragonkin, like this guy right here. And they have another heritage here, which is Legacy Drakorian, which are these Drakorian largely born from Uruxi and or kobolds, in which have a backstory dealing with Dahak, kind of, I don't want to say corrupting, but that's influencing their bloodlines. I'm sorry, go into the heritage options. Well, let me read them yourself. They each of the heritages give you a special ability. You have damage resistance. You have there's features. You have bonuses against sleep and paralysis abilities, and the actual dragon trait, which you could get with the dragonkin. It is what it is. It's great. By the way, just want to say it's uncommon heritage. It's medium. You get 8 hit points. You get 25 foot speed. And you get the ability to add your Draconic Origin damage to unarmed strikes. That might just be a Drakorin ability, though. Then I just think everyone could get it. Heritage features. No, I think everyone can do that one way or another. Maybe that was a dragon. Well, whatever. There is definitely a way here, I think, using a heritage where you could add your Draconic element to your unarmed strikes. Or it could just be... We'll check that out later. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I got to go over the origins. Origins. You get to pick, on top of picking how you became a Dragonkin, how you became a Drakorin, you also get to pick what type of dragon influenced you, influenced your bloodline. So they have listed everything here. They have the outer dragons, the planar dragons, the primal dragons, the esoteric dragons. Each one defines the shape of your breath weapon, the damage type it does, and the saving throw defined by your breath weapon, if and when you pick up that first level breath weapon feat and all the other ancestry feats that improve it, which that was a little bit of a spoiler. It also gives you a special ability with your heritage, such as innate spells, bonuses to skills. Heck, the chime one, which is a rare, does let you once per day you can increase a requirement of an activity by 1 or spend an action to make your next activity basically roll 2d4, take the highest. A little different than that. You could spend a focus point to recharge it, which, by the way, I love that. We need more of that. Spending focus points on non-focus stuff. I know we couldn't have that in first party, but it's third party. You read it, you see what it does, you get it. Cool, great, awesome. I love things like that. Also, check out this Harrow. Check out this Harrow card dragon right here. Love him, love him, love him, love him. I know that was from the Paizo blog. I think that was even from 2007. I've been going through the Paizo blog looking for pictures for Infinite. Anyway, so Drakorin. The feats are well balanced. The ancestries are well balanced. Some of these heritages are a little much, but they are rare. And you do have the unlisted backdraw of you look like a dragon. You're going to have some problems in some of the more xenophobic towns probably aren't going to like you around, stuff like that. So there is always that underlying thing. Some of these abilities you might want to consider like charging snowflake or perk points for if you're doing that. Like, it's already an uncommon ancestry with rare heritages. So for the most part, it is admitting straight up that some of these options are a little strong, but I think it's fine. I honestly think it's fine. Like I said, they are a little strong, but if you're allowing your players to have uncommon and rare options off the bat, like exotic weapon proficiencies based purely on backstory and not on feats, or rare backgrounds, go ahead and do it. Oh, bye, Kate. Enjoy walking the dog. Go ahead and catch the rest later. Yeah, we're almost done here, actually. There are special options here for people who, special lizard folk and kobold options here, which you could take as a Drakorin because there's a feat that gives you a bonus skill training plus adopted ancestry, lizard folk, or kobold. There are things here that let you fly. There are things here that will give you special attacks with your wings, with your claws, with your tail. All those cool things that you expect and you need and you want from a dragon. There are lots of cool ways to apply your elemental damage to your natural attacks. Ways to become magic resistant to different things that you'd expect dragons to be resistant to. One feat I really love in here, two little things I want to bring up, actually, as long as I got this. They have a humanoid shape feat as a level 5 feat. I almost feel like I'd allow my players to take that as a level 1 feat, because sometimes it just becomes easier for a party, and it's way more dramatic. If you have a player with a cool ancestry like this who hides it from everybody else, and if they're going to burn a feat for it when, like, you can't use this to disguise yourself or anything other than saying I'm not a Drakorin. It's not like realistic likeness. You're not using this to look exactly like someone else. You're using it to have one humanoid alternate form. So I would probably make humanoid shape a first level feat in my campaigns, but I understand fifth works fine too. They also have a really cool feat here called Partner Bond. It's a uncommon ancestry feat that lets you bond with one other person and get 100 feet telepathy with them. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I would totally make that like a general feat or something with some kind of prerequisite of having an access of having a ritual cast on you or something. But I'm always a big sucker for feats that you and another person take. I think you only have to take it to make the bond. Yeah, only you need it. But I'm a big sucker of feats and abilities that only work with one designated person. Be great for a sniper duo, wouldn't it? Have a big sniper Drakorin who could telepathically talk to their duo. That would be fantastic. There are new heritages for lizard folk and kobolds in addition to new feats. So that's cool. What else do we got here? There's also some Duskwalker feats and some Oread feats and some new feats for Dragon Disciples. They have the dedication there that allows you to take it as a Dracorian, and it gives you a slightly different bonus as a dedication. So it's not new feats for Dragon Disciples, it's a new dedication feat. And then you could take all the other Dragon Disciple feats. I like that. I like that a lot. And there we have it. That's a lot of cool stuff for the Dracorian. So, on to the elephant in the room. And this is, the elephant in the room for me. And possibly for other people watching this. Because I have been bombarded this last week with... Dustin, I love the idea of more spell tricks. I know that you're releasing a spell trickster thing. Please talk about the spell trickster. Please release the spell trickster. Why aren't you releasing it yet? And yes, I told everyone I was going to release a book called Spell Trickster, and it would expand on the Grand Bazaar Spell Trickster archetype, but I decided to hold it back while the work stoppage was on so that more people could focus what limited funds they have on supporting the union, the Paizo Workers Union, United Paizo Workers, and their merchandise store. But I am going to announce right now that very, very soon, within the next probably 20 minutes, the Spell Trickster will in fact be on Pathfinder Infinite. Here, I'll pull it up here right now. Spell Trickster it's complete. I added a couple extra feats since the initial announcement that I was delaying it. So you do get more content here that will not increase the price. And it's here. It's ready. I don't feel comfortable doing a video review of my own work unless there were enough people out there specifically requesting it, but I will skim here through and show you the Spell Trickster. There's feats that let you make tags so that you could give your tricks to other people in the party, crafting like scrolls. There's a bunch of spell tricks in here. I think there's 33 or 34 feats in here, and I am looking toward possibly doing a sequel, and people have been asking for the solid 100, so it would be fun to make 3 different books and have 100 different spell tricks. So there you have it. This will be up very, very shortly on Pathfinder Infinite. I'm very excited as this will be my first, not only Infinite product, but my first time publishing anything for myself. Everything else I've done, I've written for other people. This week has been a month. Week has been a month. There's been so much going on this week for me, for everyone in the Paizosphere, the Union. Yes, Infiknight Design Diary / Biased Reactions. If you want to see an Infiknight Design Diary Biased Reactions program script, say so on Facebook or tell me somewhere. If anybody out there wants to see an Infiknight Diary Biased Reactions video like Mark does on Arcane Mark, please go ahead and ask me, and if I get at least 2 people who want to see it, I'll go ahead and do it. Because I wouldn't mind going over all these feats, but I don't want to do it on a show where I am showing other people's awesome work that you should totally get, because that's what this segment right now is all about, is reviewing other people's work on Infinite, and you should totally check out their work. Here, I'll leave this here because this cover looks awesome. All right. So thank you very much for hanging in here. I know the show went a little late, but that's how the cookie crumbles. My next show will be on Tuesday. I'll be making a monster with Booster Bestiary. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for giving me your support. Thank you for supporting Paizo. And thank you for supporting the Paizo Union, because we actually did it. And that really is the most amazing news of the week. And I am so proud of everyone who worked so hard on this and sacrificed so much and went, man, I mean, I could sit here listing out names, but just go on Twitter, look for Unionized Paizo, look at those names, remember those names, remember those people. If you're a developer out there, those are the freelancers you want to hire. I mean, there's plenty more out there, but like those everyone who worked on this is just so, they have grit, They have grit, they have courage, and they have accomplished something historic this week. So I'm proud of them all, and words can't express how proud I am of this, of being even a small part of this movement, the small part that I was. All I could say is thank you. Thank you to everyone for making this happen. It's incredible. And with that, I think I'm good. I will go ahead and upload that PDF and get that Spell Trickster product out there. Thank you again, everybody, and I will see you on Tuesday.